Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and welcome to episode 10 of the It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast. So, I haven't done any of these in a while, and if you know me and you've been listening to me over the last 6 or 7 years, recently I've had some mental health issues which took quite a lot of my time, and we are working through that step by step as each day progressive. And today is a new day. Today we are going to look at self-discovery. So we're going to use some journal prompts, and I'm going to discuss the answers, and I hope that you will discuss some of your answers, and together we can come together as a community and help each other out, support each other, pump up our not necessarily our egos, but our self-confidence and our well-being. And we can come together as a community and share thoughts and ideas and the such. So we're going to go through a few journal prompts today, and I hope you will join me. If excuse me a sec. I don't know about you, but my voice is drying out no end due to this awful heat. So the journal prompt we're going to discuss first is what has been your biggest lesson you've learned. So that can be a lesson you've learned in life, a lesson that you hope to learn, a lesson that you want to learn but haven't quite got there. For me, the biggest lesson that I think I may have learned in my life so far is to try and not focus on the negatives all the times. And I know that's something that everybody's going to say, you know, that's an easy lesson to learn. You just be positive all the time. But you'll find that in this day and age, it is hard to live in a world where everything is hunky dory, everything is perfect, everything is wonderful. And sometimes, more than others recently, negativeness creeps in to no matter what it is, whether it's, a negative work environment, negativity, whether it's politics, negativity, whether it's your children, unfortunately, maybe they're being influenced by negative stuff, whether it's TikTok, the world itself is just in a bad place. So my biggest lesson for me would be to try and not be so negative, but you also have to be realistic that there are negative times right now. Certain things are happening around the world, and it is hard to be this top of the morning positive person constantly when some days are that bad. All you want to do is curl up in a ball, cry your heart out, and just either pray or beg or just hope that things can only get better. You'll find that every day is different. Some days are more negative than others. Me as a person, I'm always trying to be more positive, but it's not as easy as it would seem from the outside. So you have to take each day as it comes. So that is the first one of our little journal. We have these journals, and we're going to use these to prompt our conversations. If you want to share in the comments or in the chat your biggest lesson that you've learned, then please do so. Okay, moving on to self-discovery question number 2. Who are the closest people to you in your life right now? So the closest people to me right now would be my children. Throughout my life, I've had friends come and go, high school, college, You know, you surround yourself with people from a young age. You start when you're in primary school, you get your little cliques and your little people, and then you get to college, and then you surround yourself with a different type of people. Whether you're the party goer who's like partying all night, or whether you're the person that, you know, sits in the, you know, dorm working away like a busy bee trying to get the grades. Then when you come out of college, you go to work, and you then have an entirely different environment of people that you surround yourself with. Um, and you end up having cliques in work, which I can hate. And then you're either in the in crowd in work, or you're not, you're the outcast at work. And then obviously once you get a partner, you become a part of their lives and maybe their family's lives, and you build this network of people. And then you'll maybe have your own kids, or if you're like me, I have a grandchild now, and my sisters have had children, and you build this big amount of people around you. Now, me personally, the question is, who are the closest people to you in your life right now? Would be my kids. I've done the school days, I've done the college days, I've done the work friend days. I personally don't feel close, like really, really close to anybody. I do have a very introverted personality, where I'm not exactly like going out to meet new people, going out to make friends, and I probably should do. I probably, as a, you know, I do feel that I do have like barriers to meeting people. Like, my interests are not for everybody, my hobbies aren't for everybody. You'd have to be a very specific people to want to hang around with me, and that's fine, because I don't want to force people to hang around with me that aren't going to gel, that aren't interested in the same things, because you just wouldn't have a rapport. But the closest people to my life would be my kids. Obviously, my youngest has moved in with me recently. He's been here since kind of February, March time. And he spends quite a lot of the time in his room, although we do hang out. We went for a coffee the other day, which was quite nice. And we do hang out. Obviously, he's 16, so he's a teenager. He has his own life. He has his own girlfriend. I also do have my other son, who is very hardworking. He has his own daughter. He's a very busy lad. His shifts are just manic, and we do see each other. I do wish sometimes I did see my son and my grandchild more, but they do have their own lives, and you do find eventually that you don't really have many close people in your life as you get older. You do find the gaps in your life and the gaps in your socialness that kind of like pan out over time. Um, and it can be a little bit like, depressing to not have that unit that you're used to, because you have it all the way from like primary school. And then as you get older, your friend groups either get smaller, or your family drift off. um and it's just part of life, I guess. But you know, everybody feels different in social circles. Me, kind of an introvert, not necessarily the biggest go-getter when it comes to like socializing and that. You know, I'll go clubbing every once in a while with my sisters and that, but just socializing, like going down the pub or something, just having a random drink, it's not really me, although I wish I had that kind of friend system around me sometimes. Life can be a little bit lonely, I guess, but you know, you can't complain about stuff if you don't put yourself out there. I guess the analogy there is. Okay, let's move on to a third discovery. Are we ready? Make sure you share your own stories in the chat, or if you are watching this, share your own stories as we go along. So, self-discovery number 3. What challenges are you facing at the moment. Well, how long do you have? The challenges at the moment. Please do share only what you'd like in the comments. Share as much as you want or as little. What challenges are you facing at the moment? Personally, I feel like I'm facing my own demons. Life's not been peachy for the last at least 18 months, a year, maybe 18 months. Life has put obstacles, it has put people, it has put situations in my way that have not only tried my patience, tried my mental health, and has also tried my physical health. Each of these are a snowball effect. One thing snowballed into another, and like dominoes, they fell, and so did I. I fell into a spiral, and I fell into depression, and I fell into lack of self-confidence, lack of self-belief. I currently have counselling. A lot of people of you talk to me behind the scenes. I have counselling every 4 to 6 weeks to cope with the challenges that I am facing. I am also diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. And each of these challenges separately, the anxiety, the depression, the PTSD, they all have their own challenges within them. And there are also challenges exterior to those three things. Obviously, I am now unemployed, which is also another challenge. I lost my job in May when the store I worked at closed down. I had already technically lost my job because I signed off at Christmas due to mental health problems, which I noticed, I dealt with, and I got the help. Now, the challenges that I face at the moment is getting out of bed every day, is having a positive attitude every day, is having that drive to try and fix things because every day feels like a struggle. Some days are better than others, like any mental health condition. Everybody's conditions are different. If you look at my mental health recently, it has snowballed from one thing to another and had a knock-on effect. Some people will have this scenario where something goes wrong in their lives and then everything just seems to happen after that. Other people are just, unfortunately, they just have bad luck, and no matter how much they try, they have these things happen to them, and from one thing to another, they then think they're the problem or they're the ones making the mistakes, and mental health can drive you as crazy or uncrazy, depending on the situations, depending on how you cope. I think I'm coping well. I do have counselling, like I said, every 4 to 6 weeks. Originally, it was every couple of weeks, and then we spaced it out a little bit more as things in me felt a bit easier. But there are days where you yo-yo. You can get up one morning and feel perfectly fine, and the next day you're absolutely not. And every day your feelings change, your mood changes, and it can be really hard. It can be really hard to see the bigger picture, that although you're stuck in this rut right now, that there is a way out. And it's finding a way of coping, a way of working around, maybe not necessarily just, scrapping whatever it is you felt and thought recently, but trying to find a way of coping with that feeling, manifesting it into something else. Which is hard. I'm not gonna lie. It has been a struggle. So there's that. Okay. Okay. Do share any of your thoughts, feelings, emotions in the chat to any of these Question 4. Are we ready? Are you holding on to something you need to let go of? Now, that's a big question. I am sure a lot of us out there has some thoughts, maybe some regrets. Maybe you were a high school bully. Maybe you cheated on somebody. Maybe you're harboring a secret of some kind. Are you holding on to something you need to let go of? I would love to let go of the resentment I feel for some people. I am not the first person to have a rough upbringing. Totally understand that. But I have had quite a rough upbringing. My sisters had some of the same issues as we progressed through life, and I resented quite a few people in my life and still do. Now, resentment isn't necessarily a bad thing. If it's a way of you coping and resenting somebody, like if you had somebody cheat on you, I can quite happily go with you resenting them, as, hate and despising somebody is quite a harsh word. Resentment, maybe you will resent the fact that you ever met them, or if you know, left a job because of the people that pushed you out of it, like, someone else came in and out kind of thing. You have resentment to your boss, a resentment to an ex, a resentment to a friend that maybe slept with your partner and screwed you over, or stuff like that. Resentment can come from a lot of places. The thing is, how long do you hold onto that resentment? How long do you take it to the grave with you? Do you take it for a couple of weeks, couple of months? Do you try and rebuild the friendship if it was a friend or a loved one? Families are always having these like fallouts and you resent each other, but how long do you keep hold of that? Do you wait till you're in your 80s on your deathbed to like get rid of that resentment, or do you try and get rid of the resentment like really quickly, go from like 0 to 100? Do you hold on to that resentment because as long as you hold on to that, you feel good about it? It's hard. I do resent some people that I have met in my life. The things that I've had done to me, not gonna go into too much detail, but the resentment of the bullying I've had throughout my life has been quite bad. And I resent every person that ever did that to me, and I'm full within my right to resent them. I hope that they hold some kind of guilt themselves. Most of them probably don't. They were egotistical enough to believe they were in the right, so why would they think otherwise? But yeah, holding on to something you need to let go of. There comes a time where resentment, something like that, or holding on to a secret that you don't want people to know about, but you do want people to know about, holding on to something you need to let go of. There comes a time where you just have to turn around to yourself and go, I really just can't hold on to this anymore. If you're cheating on your partner or something and you're holding on to something like that, or I don't know, you cheated on a test many, many years ago and you kept it a secret. Something that you need to hold on to sometimes can be the problem. And if you just let go of it, you may not feel great about it to start with, but sometimes it's just what you need, just to like put it out there into the world and like get it gone. But each of us are different and we all hold on to some things. It's just at some point, maybe, just maybe, we should let that, go. So we're going to do one more for today because we don't want to push ourselves too much. Self-discovery, you take your time, you explore your innermost thoughts and feelings and emotions. So the last question for today, out of my little self-discovery journal, you can get these on Temu, and they're self-discovery journal prompts, and we're going to go through these and hope by the end of the year that we have learned something about ourselves. So, journal prompt number 5. Now, they're not all going to be happy and Larry, and they're not all going to be positive. The journal prompts are a bit of both. So this one's a happy one. So, if money wasn't an object, what would you want to do or be? So, if money wasn't an object, what would you want to do or be? Now, for me, if money wasn't an object, I would move. I would either move abroad and go live in France, or I would move up north and I would live in Whitby. And why would I live in Whitby? Because it is the goth mecca for me. I love Whitby as a town. I love the whole culture up there, the goth weekends, the feelings, just the aura I get from being in there. I've only been there once, and the feeling I got there was that I was home, and it's a very weird feeling. If money wasn't an object, I would move to Whitby, and I would love to have my own shop. I'm not exactly sure what the shop would be like, but I always thought of myself as being a business owner and running my own shop and having my own staff, because I feel like I'm a really good leader, and I've always been told that I could manage my own store within whatever companies I've ever worked in. And I feel that I could run my own store, be my own boss, which I am confident enough to be. I'd love to have a couple of little employees that are really friendly, that are like your best mates. And I'd love to have a store that's just a bit different. I don't know what, but I'd love to run my own store. I'd love to have a camper van. Would be another dream of mine, would be to have a camper van and go up and down the country visiting cemeteries, and traveling the country. Or my real dream that I had when I was a little girl was going to France and working in France, living in France. And before all this YouTube influencer stuff, was just to show how beautiful France was, how beautiful Europe was, kind of like a travel vlogger. I love staying in hotels. I love staying in B&Bs. I love staying in resorts, caravan parks. I just review all of them. And I know that's a thing that already exists. But it was a thing I wanted to do like 30 years ago when I was a little girl. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. I studied French for like nearly 6 years, and studied, the culture, and Europe really interests me, whether it be Romania or Germany, the two of the other places I'd really like to go to. I'd love to go to Transylvania for obvious reasons. If you don't know, I'm a goth. Go back to the Dracula's castle. There are places in Romania I'd love to go to. There's places in Germany. The culture, the architecture, it just fills me with a smile. But yeah, let me know down below, if money wasn't an object, what would you do or what would you be? So today we have been on a journey of self-discovery. I want to keep these video little it's not all doom and gloom little podcasts under 30 minutes. Today we did 5 questions in total. We're just going to run through them just so you can share your own thoughts and feelings and emotions in the chat. So the first question we looked at was, what has been your biggest lesson you've learned? Question 2 was, who are the closest people to you in your life right now? Question 3 was, what challenges are you facing at the moment? Question 4 was, are you holding on to something you need to let go of? And question 5 was the most funnest one today. Was if money wasn't an object, what would you do or what would you be? So if you enjoy this little self-discovery podcast, it's not all doom and gloom. I'm hoping to do these either twice a week or once a week. So if you'd like to partake on this journey of self-discovery, it does have 365 journal prompts in total, so we can explore our thoughts, feeling and emotions. Obviously some of these are more negative than others, but they are to try and discover what's inside, what you need to fix, what is something that you can look forward to, and also looking at the past, because sometimes if you're struggling in the present, sometimes looking at the past or trying to look at the future can help you. So if you want to like and subscribe to the Midnight Raven, the It's Not All Doom podcast, episode 10. Thank you for watching. I want to thank everybody that has persevered with me since my mental health diagnosis and has been there for me. I know everybody misses my live streams, but I really just, I'm not in the right frame of mind currently. But as soon as I am, you guys will be the first to know. If you're struggling, always remember you can reach out to me. I do have Discord. You can put a comment on this video. If you want to help the podcast at all, you can donate to the channel via PayPal, a super chat, super thanks, or become a member. I do hope to do extra members content once we get more members. I know I have quite a few members at the minute, but it does take time to do these videos and to edit them. You don't have to support the channel with money. You can just support it by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you want to share these videos out, if there's someone you think that might need some help or some guidance. I'm not a life coach, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist. I'm using these to help not only myself to realize my good, my bad and the ugly. I also want to help other people to see the good, bad and ugly within themselves as well. So if you want to like and subscribe, support the podcast, and I will see you all very soon for episode 11. Take care and thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye guys.